welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about why you should not actually go about developing your own style, quote unquote. Yeah, it's something that comes up all the time. I hear it. Guitarists are always saying, no, I'm not going to learn this, I'm not going to learn that. What I really want to do is hunker down and develop my own style of guitar playing. And this is something that I heard so many times when I was just getting started on the guitar, when I was interested in guys like great Randy Rhoads. You know, if you could just think about right off the bat, like Randy Rhoads, he wrote that song, but Zakk Wylde played it with very much his own style, you know, so to say. And, you know, that was just part of his style, something that he brought to the table. And for the longest time, I was told, like, you know, you don't want to learn other people's licks. And I'm talking like even the most basic licks. Actually, what I was playing there was probably even more complex than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like... my guitar's going out of tune because I'm already getting so excited. But even the most basic licks, people were like trying to discourage me away from this, and it could have been, you know, like younger kids, like insecurity and stuff. We were only in middle school, but I had heard that from like even Randy Rhoads was saying stuff like, you know, don't copy other guitar players, just develop your own style. And then you see it more and more in players like Nino Bettencourt and Satchel and like George Lynch. All of these guys basically said, you know, with their own like influences, their own guitar gods, so to say. They're basically just saying like, hey, you know, I was thinking about ripping off Jimi Hendrix licks. You know, I get as close as I can to like Jimi Hendrix licks. I couldn't emulate him like 100%, and therefore I developed my own style. This is like something that George Lynch said. Anyway, I fell victim to all these people around me telling me like, hey, don't copy other guitarists, you're just gonna develop your own style. And so what I ended up doing is I said, no, like I like I like Randy Rhoads, I like how it sounds. You know, I loved that sound. So, and when I learned that off of YouTube, that was the first time that I had heard like something for myself playing the guitar that I was like, it was the first window into, man, I could actually sound pretty cool on the guitar if I follow this, you know. And you know, after obsessing over Randy Rhoads, eventually I got into like Paul Gilbert, and he was doing all this fast picking stuff, and you know, he kind of was the gateway to Yngwie and guys like Brandon Ellis for me, just other guitarists that had so much picking speed, and I loved that. I loved that so much. And there was a guy on YouTube as well called Doug Steele, and I would watch him, and every single time he would talk about the vibrato. And when I was playing guitar at the time, I didn't even really think about vibrato at all. It wasn't even a little twinkle in my eye. And now it's all I think about on the guitar. It's my favorite thing to do is I love that sound. And if it wasn't for Doug Steele, you know, like watching him in fact emulate George Lynch's style, that was the guy that he was the most into. You know, I would have come across things as small as that, you know. And then as far as like picking licks, I love how Yngwie sounds. I love it. You know, like that's to me, that's such an exciting part of the guitar, especially when I was playing in thrash bands, playing over rhythms that are like pick-up, 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 and then you're playing over that 16th note. And on sweet vibrato, just like we were talking about. Like, that stuff is so cool. And if I had gone the route, I'm just gonna develop my own style. It's like, these are things that wouldn't be a part of my playing in the slightest. So yeah, when I play guitar and I play something like stuff like that, I'm not thinking like, oh yeah, that's totally me. Like, obviously I'm thinking, oh, that's David Gilmour, you know, and then that's Michael Schenker or Gus G or like whichever guitarist that I was so psyched on that, you know, I just like emulated their licks. And you know, but it's the fact that over this process of time, like, I've looked at every single player, I've learned something from every single player, and that's how I ultimately started to sound like me. You know, Jimmy Headland from Falconer, like the way that he addressed arpeggios and like fit them into his playing, like, and then again ending on such radical vibrato. Or even like Eddie Van Halen, you know, that like I'm playing a Les Paul now, but primarily I love to play with a Floyd Rose guitar. This is stuff I would never have done if I was like, I'm just gonna be me, you know, because I started with a Les Paul. But I just got into players like that. I love that sound. Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, like those guys, all super expressive guitarists with their whammy bar, and like I said, I just love that sound. And so yeah, so you're probably thinking at this point, like, how do you develop your style? Well, I guess I've made it pretty clear at this point. Ultimately, what you want to do is learn all the players that you like, learn their styles, and then by learning everyone's style that you enjoy, you will eventually pick and choose sort of naturally, like what are the things that you dig. And I mean, you're going to gravitate towards the things that you like, and you're going to leave the other things where they stand, and ultimately come up with your own style of guitar playing. So if you're in a bind right now where you're feeling like, well, I want to do that, you know, I want to get down all these Yngwie licks, all these Joe Satriani licks, but I don't really have the proper resources to learn these licks, or I can learn these licks, but I don't really understand them, how to apply them, exactly what he's doing, or where he's getting all these notes from. I mean, because I only know this one scale, I only know, you know, but my favorite players are comfortably just moving around. Distracted, but yeah, all these other players are just like moving around comfortably and stuff. You're like, I don't know where those scales are coming from. I don't know how people are picking fast, because that's a video in it of itself. But yeah, if you've kind of been looking at the guitar for a while and playing the same licks, you're ready to branch out, find your own style, so to say, by executing on the method that I just talked about. And you know, you're looking for the right person to show you how to do this. What you can do is hit that link below, and on that link you're going to fill out an application and put the exact date and time when I can call you. You can speak to me personally about where you're at with your guitar playing, where you want to go, and we're going to put together a system to get you there. Alright, so yeah, I'll talk soon.